Hey, welcome back to This Week in Victoria. I'm your host, Chris Daly. I will be joined shortly by Brother Gary Moses. We're going to talk about all the action going on in Victoria, all the exciting things going on. But first, these messages. Hey, I just want to take a second to thank you for listening to This Week in Victoria and let you know that it is a wonderful way for you to reach the Victoria and Crossroads area if you have a business. It is a great reach. It is a fraction of the cost of traditional marketing. And it's a much bigger audience, a much more engaged audience. Reach out to myself or Brother Gary if you want to get in front of the Crossroads audience. Have you ever thought about doing your own podcast? It is the absolute best way to grow your brand, spread your message, and build your following. Fresh Media Works can help. We do all the heavy lifting, and you just focus on your message. To find out how easy we can make launching your new podcast, call 713-269-4620 or check us out at freshmediaworks.com. All right, everybody join me in welcoming Brother Gary Moses to the show. Brother Gary, how are you?
I'm doing great, Chris. Good to be with you as always, partner. You know, here it is, spring break this week, and just loving it. Weather's been pretty good, a lot of stuff going on, and I'm having a ball. How about you, sir?
Oh, you know, like I said, you mentioned the weather. The weather has been amazing. The mosquitoes are not out yet, so we're loving it.
Not yet. No, we don't want those boys. They're not welcome.
No.
I tell you right now, it has been nice. Last week, we had the Drifters of Victoria, their second reunion dance. Mm-hmm. What a great time, big crowd. There's so many good things going on that I've been attending, and I know you have too. We see each other here and there and with so many great events. And here it's another week and, you know, finishing out spring break. I mean, I'm looking at it, the Goliad County Fair and PRCA Rodeo. Today starts the fair. And then rodeo is Friday, Saturday night, 7:30, and Sunday at 2 o'clock. Small town rodeo, we're in the top 5. We've been mentioned as the top 5 small town rodeos across the nation. That says something about Goliad, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. In Goliad, it's one of those cities, you know, if you're from Victoria and you haven't spent some time in Goliad, you need to go there. It is such a cool little city. And like you said, now's a good time with that rodeo.
Sure is, Chris. So, you know, just one of those things, those yearly things that I do each and every year, help with the rodeo, promote it. You're helping me with that and going out there. It's just terrific time. And Thursday's busy, though. Here we got the Museum of Coastal Bend tonight, LaSalle Odyssey exhibit. It starts at this afternoon, this evening, with the John Stormont lectures, 2 o'clock, the LaSalle exhibit that is going on again. Museum Coastal Bend, 2 o'clock this afternoon. You know, they opened up the duck pond ribbon cutting, and of course it's been open, but the ribbon cutting today, and a little fish out right there. So a lot of good things for outdoors that we're talking about. I love this stuff, man. Good stuff right there.
Yeah, now, and you need to go check out that duck pond.
Oh, that's great, beautiful, isn't it? Anything you want to mention at this point, Chris?
Well, I tell you, what I'd like to do is let's take a quick break, and I want to play out an interview with Dan Capone from Meals on Wheels. It's such a great organization. I'm gonna play that interview, and then we'll talk about it when we get out of that.
All right, sounds good.
All right, everybody join me in welcoming Dan Capone from Meals on Wheels. And before I get into it, Dan, any relation to Alphonse?
Everyone in Sicily is related.
Oh, right.
Small island. So all from the same town, all from the, but who knows?
Nice. I love it. So we're here to talk about Meals on Wheels. But first, I like to go back to where you grew up and how you got here.
So I grew up in upstate New York.
Right.
Left at 17. Did college in Iowa. Met my wife at the time there. We moved around all along the East Coast. Lived in Michigan, Iowa, Alabama, Kansas. We moved here from Kansas where we were for 10 years. My wife's parents built a place in Seadrift along the coast, and it was a way for us to move and still be close to grandparents.
Close, but not so close.
Not so close.
I love that.
And be close for our kids.
Yeah.
And moved in, that was in 2007. So I've been here since 2007.
Okay. And talk to me about the connection with Meals on Wheels, how that started, because it was a fascinating story when you were telling me that.
So, I mean, we started getting involved with Meals on Wheels when our kids were looking for sort of a service project through our church. We went to St. Francis Episcopal Church, and they had a group that delivered meals on Fridays, and so we took one of those slots. Mm-hmm. And so we delivered meals for several years while our kids were middle school age. We homeschooled our kids, our boys, up through ninth grade. The first day of ninth grade was their first day in the classroom for both of them. And so this was like in those junior high years as a community service kind of thing. Did that with them. And then when my oldest went to UT, when he graduated and was going to UT, suddenly we needed a little more income to pay those tuition bills. Right. And so the director here at the time was retiring, and I went ahead and kind of things fell in place and made that move back into paid work.
So now, tell me how you go from being a volunteer to running the show. What in your background made them go, yeah, that's a good idea?
I think a series of things. So I had worked in social services in Kansas when I lived in Kansas. So I had some social service background and some grant program background and stuff.
Right.
And working with food stamp population and welfare to work population and stuff. So had some social service background, kind of had just a very eclectic work experience. I have a liberal arts degree. My degrees are in art history, which is applicable to absolutely nothing in the real world.
Right.
I thought I was going to go on to teach. The average PhD at art history is 6 to 8 years, and when it came to that time, I did not have 6 to 8 years of school left in me.
Right.
We had other things we wanted to do, like start a family and that sort of thing, and so kind of scratched that. I did user experience design for a number of years for a digital agency out of Seattle.
Right.
And so kind of was a stay-at-home parent, but worked a little bit with those West Coast wages, which are always nice compared to here.
Yeah,
you can
no doubt.
work part-time, and it's almost like having a pretty full-time job here.
Right.
But did that for a while. And so it was just a lot of that, user experience design, really paying attention to the end user's experience of, like, for services here, how do you design services with the end user in mind? Because so often we kind of do things and think we know what they need.
No, that's huge. The UX involvement in this it makes perfect sense when you think about it. But who would have thought about it?
Right. But I mean, it's just that sort of thing because, so often, like I said, you deliver what you think they need, and what they need is not what you're giving them.
Right.
And you don't understand that disconnect till you actually start looking at it. And so that background was sort of interesting. But it was just things sort of fell in place. And my ex-wife was the director of the Victoria Public Library here for a long time, but she'd been a library director for like 25 years. And so I got to see a lot of how do you work with a board? How do you work with nonprofits? How do you do this from the other side? But had a lot of sort of that sort of experience to bring to it.
Got it.
And then I started in 2016, was on the job about 8 months before Hurricane Harvey hit. And then that was an interesting experience, and that got me involved with the statewide network. So because our building here was damaged, we weren't able to get food out, get meals out for a little while. Meals on Wheels San Antonio provided meals for us to get out to people, so we were only down actually like 2 to 3 days.
Right. Wow.
So we had a very short downtime, but that got me involved in the statewide network, and I just finished 2.5 years as president of Meals on Wheels Texas because I got involved in the statewide network and kind of got roped into things to that end, but with a lot of lobbying at the legislature and that sort of stuff. Quickly found that the Senior Nutrition Network was a place where I could utilize a lot of my skills and a lot of interests, and things just kind of came together, and it's been a really good fit.
Nice. And what kind of changes have you seen here locally and statewide in that time?
Locally, what we've seen, especially with COVID, because we went from Harvey, which was we were serving when I got here, we were doing about 175 meals a day. And after Harvey, that went down to about 100 because lots of people pulled their parents away from the coast. They moved inland. They moved elsewhere. And it took almost 2 years to sort of climb out of that hole. And so the very end of 2019, we were just coming out of that hole, back up to that 175. And then in March, COVID hit. And in about 6 weeks, we went from 175 meals a day to over 400. It was just an exponential. It was like your 5-year dream growth goal in 6 weeks. Gee. And so it was just a lot of...
But that's got hassles.
A ton of hassles. I mean, the logistics behind that and everything, especially at a time when there was so much uncertainty about, like, were your volunteers going to be able to continue volunteering? Could your supply chain stuff? I mean, all of that just really... It was a very... interesting time.
Nice.
But, came from that. And I'm trying to think the question because there was a trajectory to all of that I was...
Just the changes.
So the changes. And so the changes really been, there was a lot of increased awareness because the city and county did that 3:00 every day news conference where we were often mentioned as one of the services that were out there. And that awareness piece, because like I said, we've been here since 1979 doing what we do. And so many people don't know that we're here until it's your parent or your grandparent or whoever needs the services, or you need the services. And then suddenly when you're scrambling and looking, you find us. And so that awareness piece was huge. But that number hasn't really gone down. The increased demand has been there. The problem is the funding has not kept pace. So there was a lot of extra American Rescue Plan funding and things of that nature that were like 2 and 3 years of funding that has all come down. So we're sort of back to that, close to that pre-government level of support. So it's having to find other levels of support because we've had to sort of trim our service area a little bit and not be able to deliver out into the county as much as we had been, and things just because the funds simply aren't there. And so that's been one of the things sort of statewide is that demand has not gone down, but the support has decreased. And so that's sort of where we're at, is trying to figure out what that right level is and what new sources of funding we can tap into. And
you before we started, you'd mentioned volunteers. What role do volunteers play? Are they delivering?
So volunteer support has been good, but it's also, we used to deliver daily. With COVID, for safety sort of concerns, protocol reasons, we went to a weekly delivery model where we were doing a hot and 4 frozen meals, simply because we didn't want to be in somebody's home or across their doorstep or either bringing COVID or picking up something. And so made that change, but also just the logistics, because we used to, when we had 175 clients, we could 4 to 5 routes, big routes, we could get everybody. So you only needed 4 or 5 drivers. Now we're up to 23 drivers that do to get all the meals that we're delivering out. And that's on a weekly. So if you go to 5 days, then you need 5 times that number. And some of your people, we have some really dedicated volunteers, some that have been here 20 years or longer doing it, some that used to do it every day when we did. So we know we have some that'll pick up multiple shifts in the week, but it just increases the number of volunteers that you need so much. So always delivery drivers is one role that they play. And we were able, in the last 2 years, we've been able to eliminate paid driver positions. We used to have some drivers that were paid because there's been enough volunteer stepping up so that we can do that. And that's also helped a little bit on that funding challenge piece if you're not having to pay drivers to deliver. So there's delivery drivers. We also have pet services. So we deliver pet food, and we also do vet care, basic vet care, annual vaccines, and some, on a case-by-case basis, emergency stuff for people's companion animals. Because that's really a huge socialization thing. It helps with loneliness, helps, having that dog to come home to, or dog to get out of the house with, or dog to has been important. So we do that. So delivering pet food, transporting pets to the vet. We have sort of a standing monthly appointment with the vet clinic that works with us to take pets. And then also calling. So people are still sort of isolated, lonely at home, we have a friendly calling program, a togetherness program. And so you can sign up and get assigned, 2 or 3 seniors to kind of check in weekly.
Yeah.
With just to talk
cool.
and, sort of establish a little bit of a relationship.
Yeah.
And, now that COVID's over, that can transition to in-person visits if they want, but everything's sort of got...
That's huge, because before my mother went into a nursing home, she was getting dementia, and that was the big thing, was she needed interaction. And, I have to work, my brother has to work, my wife has to work, so we couldn't be there all day. So we were finding people to go visit her. Yeah. I did not even realize this was...
Yeah, and
available.
so there's, volunteers for that program
Yeah.
are something that definitely need. That's a sort of a program that we were starting to develop pre-COVID. Then COVID came and it got switched to telephone.
Right.
And it's a little bit hybrid now. We'd love to be able to see, part of that is meeting where the need is for people. That thing I talked about earlier about delivering what we think people need.
Right.
For so long, I had been just of the mindset we needed to get back to that daily hot delivery. That seems so central to me, sort of central to our identity, central to what we did. Mm-hmm. But when we surveyed our clients, 92% wanted to stick with a weekly frozen delivery. And that was really a wake-up call between, you're trying to figure out how logistically, how are we going to do this? How are we? And then, the data when we surveyed was like, well, wait, that was a huge difference or disconnect again between what you think you need to offer people and what the people want.
That's one of the axioms I stand by is you're not the customer.
Yeah.
You have to ask the customer.
Yeah. I mean, and that, and that's hard. I know, we've taken a little bit of heat from some of our other fellow Meals on Wheels programs because again, it just seems so central. But when you come down to it, are you giving people the support that they need in the form they're looking at? If you're getting the meal in a form that you can heat up when you want it, suddenly you're not tied to, my delivery driver got here at 10:30 in the morning and I am not ready to eat lunch, but it's here and ready to go, so I need to do it.
I can see that.
Or I'm not really hungry today. Tomorrow I'll eat too. Just whatever. You have a little bit of flexibility that comes.
Yeah, I like that.
Comes with it.
Cool. So, talk about your needs. You mentioned already volunteers. What other?
So volunteers, really funds. So if anyone, you can go to our website mowstx.org. There's pretty simple donate. There's donate buttons in a couple places that'll hit you. A one-time donation or that monthly donation really helps us in meeting that need. It costs a little under $2,000 a year to feed a senior a daily meal. And that is less than the average cost of a day in the hospital or a week in a nursing home for a year's worth of meals. And so, anything that we can do, because the government funding only funds about 38% of our meals. The rest is, we're lucky to have a lot of really good local foundations and then some other sources of philanthropic support. But, that's what we kind of have to make up that difference with other. And
you mentioned the foundations. Do you partner with other NGOs in the area?
We do work with the food bank. They come and do a monthly distribution here. We have a relationship for a while with VCAM. With them, we're part of the United Way, help out a lot with the United Way. We sort of spearhead their Adopt a Santa. Used to be, I think it's Senior Giving Tree is what it's the name that's landed on. It's had a couple of different names in the time, but in doing that, and that's getting Christmas gifts for seniors, and we help fund that with some support we get from Lyondell. To help get that funded and supported and gifts not only for our clients and Community Actions clients, and then in Lavaca County and Calhoun County, just some gifts out to other places.
Cool.
So, yes, but we work with them. We work with a lot of the statewide Meals on Wheels network, a lot of, just sort of...
Right.
There's a lot of us doing the same stuff, and we don't need to reinvent the wheel.
And that was my next question. That network that you have been president of, What is its purpose?
So its purpose is that sort of that education, resource sharing, and then also lobbying at the legislative level. So the Health and Human Services funds people that are on Medicaid can sometimes get meals through applying through HHSC, and that has a cap on funding. And it used to be capped at $484 when I came, and it had been that level for almost 15 years, or a long, long time.
Right.
And then we were able to get that moved up to $648 this last session. So, working on getting sort of that funding piece, because the meal costs more than that.
Yeah.
And so but it shrinks the amount of extra funding that needs to get raised on top of that. And so we've done that. But it's a lot of just that sort of resource sharing. We have an annual conference, but it's a lot of that is, we're thinking of doing a visiting program or a pep. How have you done it? What have you done?
Yeah.
So that you're not starting it. Inventing what somebody else already has some really good models that you can look at. And I've also been at the national level, part of their sort of More Than a Meal Advisory Committee and some other things. And just we're sort of working with Meals on Wheels America on things. And it's just, there's over 300 organizations in Texas that do meals. Between some of them are like individual churches, but there's about 80 member organizations, Meals on Wheels, formalized 501c3 kind of programs in the state, and then nationally there's about close to 5,000, and so there's just a strength in numbers, and a lot of that is just that ability to, when you're having a problem, to call somebody who is you're not stuck here all by yourself.
Cool. So if you could give the website again and a phone number,
sure,
they can reach you at.
It's MOWSTX, which is Meals on Wheels South Texas .org, and then 361-576-2189 is our phone number.
Cool.
And then info@MOWSTX.org will get your email into a general email box that'll get to whoever it needs to get to.
Sweet. Well, Dan Capone, I want to thank you so much for sitting down, for the work you're doing, and for sharing your story.
Well, thanks. Seniors are a growing segment of the population, and the longer we can keep people in their homes where they want to be, it keeps them happier because they're in familiar surroundings, and it's far less costly as a society or to the system to be able to keep them in their homes than to be paying in the nursing home or other care settings. So
definitely good stuff there, right? I know you've worked with Dan before.
I sure have, and I've worked with Meals on Wheels. They do such a terrific job for our community. They host events. They take care of people who need a little extra, and very impressed with what they do. Dan's a good guy too. And Chris, good of you to put him on with us.
Yeah, I tell you, and he did such a good job. I went over there to interview him. He walked me through the whole facility, explained everything they have going on. I was shocked at all the extra stuff they do other than just delivering some food.
Yeah, they do a lot besides that. You're right. Absolutely. I'm glad you got a tour and see that. Just so you got in mind what good stuff they do. And with that, brother, a lot of good stuff going on. We were talking about the rodeo, Goliad. I do want to mention also the parade. Goliad Parade is downtown, starts at 10:30 on Saturday. As a part of all that stuff, they'll have a Friday night, tomorrow night, they'll have a street dance down there at the Goliad County Fairgrounds. Shane and Renee, Total Entertainment. Saturday night's Nick Russell and the Twisted X's. All that's free. Just a great weekend in Goliad to cap it out right there. And then Friday also, we always have Victoria Public Library, the Fun Fridays. Let's see. It's bunny paintings. They're going to paint bunnies tomorrow, 10 to 11. Yeah, how about that? I don't think it's the real ones. Will they sit still? Will they sit still? I doubt it. And then the Children's Cover Museum has their Fun Fridays also in the morning and in the afternoon. I was out there at the Children's Cover Museum last week for a deal that they did with VISD, Early Childhood Extravaganza. 650 people attended that at the Old Playhouse Cinema, the Children's Cover Museum. How about that, brother? Huh?
Wow.
How about that one? Good stuff right there. We do want to
Yes,
mention
sir.
also Friday and Saturday is the Our Lady of Sorrows garage sale at 3006 Bobolink, 8 to 5 on Friday, 8 to 4 on Saturday. And tonight, Friday night, Victoria Public Library jams from 7 to 8, Elazar Hinojosa. And I think that's going to be a good one. I get to hear all these new bands. I'm going to check that out. So Friday's busy, isn't it, Chris?
It sounds like it, and that's great.
I love it. Okay, Saturday we have the Jigsaw Puzzle Exchange at Victoria Mall, 9:30. That's always great to go there. You don't need anything. Go get some puzzles and bring them back the next month. Every month they do it, 9:30, third Saturday of the month. Now, brother, here's where we're going to be Saturday. You'll love this. You like talking softball and baseball? We got it.
Mm-hmm.
You ready?
Nice.
South Texas Girls Softball opening ceremonies this Saturday, 9 o'clock in the morning. Games to follow, Youth Sports Complex. There is a ton of girls that take part in that. A ton.
Mm.
And then Saturday also, right after 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, I'll do the Southeast Little League opening ceremonies at Victoria Youth Sports Complex. And she booked me a long time ago. I love these Little League and kids softballs and all these activities that they do. And then we go to Riverside Stadium. When I finish that one, we'll go to Riverside Stadium, the Victoria Gators homeschool opening ceremonies at 12 noon. It's a kids zone, concessions. It's a fun time. You can see the Victoria Gators homeschool baseball team there too. That's wonderful stuff, and it's all getting kicked off because it's spring, baby. Just about done. Just about going on from here and all the way to the summer. Good stuff right there. All right, brother, we got some more. Scotty Inman, he's going to be performing in El Campo at the Rustic Chandelier, 1 p.m. on Saturday afternoon, 5472 North Farm, 441 Road. And they asked us to put it. It's an Abundance group is putting it on. Always good music right there. All right, we have, Extreme Love United Saturday. That's a live music event and get-together games and activities for kids. 12 o'clock. You know where the Queen City Park is, brother?
Yeah.
2202 North Cameron. They're going to do it right there. It's a free event. All ages are welcome. Skating, dancing, music, and more. 12 o'clock. So check that one out. And then Saturday downtown, Mother Cluckers downtown is hosting a Main Street St. Patty's crawl. So what they do there, they crawl or they go from place to place. And Mother Cluckers has all the shopping. Probably going to have a bunch outdoors too, right there. You can check it all out. Mother Cluckers, 11 to 5 Saturday.
Nice.
Then you know what's going on with spring break, the library, the zoo, Children's Care Museum, the Nave, the Museum of the Coastal Bend, all with activities. Back to the library, Saturday afternoon, the chess club from 12 to 2, and the Coast Riders meet at the public library from 1 to 3. There is stuff all day Saturday. And I got one more, just came in. You got to check this one out. We got this one. Chris, you like Harley Davidson shop? Have you ever been in there?
Yeah, I love it. I used to have a motorcycle. I didn't have a Harley, but I used to ride motorcycle. Yeah.
So you played hacky sack and you drove motorcycles back then, huh?
I used to be cool.
You're still cool, buddy. I got news for you. But over there at Harley Davidson, what I like about that, from 12 to 3, it's St. Patty's Day event. We will have food, live music, and drinks, they're saying. I'm looking at it, and it's an open house. And if you walk through there, that's a throwback in time, isn't it, brother?
Yeah, definitely.
That is a throwback in time, and I love that. I think that's just such a neat place to go to. The Harley Davidson shop, Saturday, 12 to 3, open house. And then we go into Sunday, brother. Sunday, we have the KC's Pork Steak fundraiser at Columbus Hall from 9 to noon for their charities. And here's the tea party, and that starts at 1 o'clock on Sunday. You know, we're a pop-up shop 361 pop-up shops are over there.
Yep, right on Laurent.
Village,
yep.
Right on Laurent. 1 o'clock on, there's all kind of shopping over there. So we're giving you some looks over here. Gotta be.
Yeah.
I mean, that's got to be some good stuff there, isn't it?
Right on, 100%.
And then I hear at Longhorn Steakhouse on Monday. We're back at school now. That is the end. Sunday is the end of the spring break. But Monday, I heard Longhorn Steakhouse is opening up, I believe. It's their open date on the 18th. So you got that to look forward to. Tuesday, I know we're doing another ribbon cutting at Quick Quack on North Navarro. And don't we have something on Wednesday, brother, coming up this coming Wednesday with Innovation Collective?
That'll be the Coffee and Concepts Networking Group. And I tell you, it's such a good group that it's not a bunch of people gathering trying to sell stuff. It's instead just trying to build relationships and help each other.
That's what I'm seeing. The many times we've gone, I see they're helping each other, and I like that. Chris, you and I are a part of the Innovation Collective. We have been a part of it. It's really great stuff. So I look forward to that. That's Wednesday, and again, they do it once a month, twice? I think twice a month.
First and third Wednesday of the month. Yeah.
You're the man right there, first and third, and it's worth it. 7:30. I go stay as long as I can. Always good to see good people and learn fresh new ideas.
Amen. Yeah.
And I got a marketing meeting on Wednesday also that afternoon from 11 to 1 actually, and that's at Murata over here by the Healthplex, which you were at with me last week. You came over to visit.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I try to get there. I got a membership. I should be going there a lot more, but I get.
Yeah, we like to see you more because you're a good man and you're good for business.
It's all about you, man.
Hey, it's all good right there. So, brother, we got a huge week and we're back in school. Now it's a fast run to the end of the school year.
Yeah, it'll be here in no time. We'll be playing football in blink of an eye.
That's right, sir. March Madness right around the corner too.
Yeah.
Basketball. I love baseball, and this time of the year with basketball, it gets interesting because it's one and done. You know it when you get into that March Madness.
Yeah.
It's fun stuff right there, and just a great time of the year. And we're getting close to summer and school almost out. Been to the schools, and the kids are getting excited. Spring break, of course, this week, and then of course into school right around the corner. So, Chris. Loving it, man. Anything else you want to throw out there, buddy?
Yeah. Let me ask you a quick question. Do you follow boxing, or have you?
I have.
Well, I don't know if you've seen the match that's scheduled coming up in a month or so with Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul.
Jake Paul, Mike Tyson. What's he? 57, 58 years old. Mike Tyson?
57. Yeah, he's
57.
Like 30 years older than Jake Paul. Jake Paul made his fame as a YouTube guy.
Jake Paul look like he could take him? I don't think so, but I mean,
Well, I don't think anybody could take Mike Tyson.
I think he's good for a few rounds still, don't you?
Oh yeah. I mean, I guarantee you they're going to make a boatload of money off this thing, regardless.
But you know what? I don't blame him if he can do it and give some people a thrill. Because boxing, Chris, to close that out, boxing, you don't hear too much about the boxers anymore. We used to know who the heavyweight champion was, and you had all kind of good athletes boxing. You don't hear too much about that anymore. So maybe we get a little resurgence with Mike Tyson right here, right?
I love it. And for us old guys, I'm pulling for Mike Tyson.
Is us these old guys get together again like us? Hey, I'm for Mike Tyson too, buddy. That's good stuff, man. I'm glad you brought that up. So we got lots going on, and each week we'll give you another load because it does not slow down, does it, brother?
No, sir. And I want to thank you so much each and every week for being here and sharing yourself with the city. I just love that.
Yes, sir. And I have been blessed to do it, and I'm glad you're out there with me, too. It's always good to have you anywhere and everywhere, Chris. We love you, brother. So we'll do it again next week. Look forward to it, and want everybody to have a good rest of the week. Thanks, brother.
Gosh, I want to thank everybody that played a role in this show, all the great interviews. Of course, Brother Gary Moses could not be possible without him. And, of course, the sponsors who made this show possible. Please go out and support those nonprofits. Go out and support your local artists. Go out and support these businesses that help share This Week in Victoria. Until next time, for This Week in Victoria, for Brother Gary Moses and myself, enjoy This Week in Victoria, and hey, keep it real.